Hey everybody, Chris Zaminsky here.
TJ McKenna.
And we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about a virtual tool that can help us share our thinking, help students share their thinking, and work on ideas together and develop models. And it's called Google Drawing.
We know this is really hard to do when we're not in the same room. We don't all have the markers. We're not all sitting around the table. But this is a tool that really makes this a lot more accessible and a lot easier and actually pretty fun to do.
Yeah, so we're not going to talk about how all this was put together. We're just going to talk about what you do when you get a Google drawing that looks kind of like this, set up in this way that's almost a modeling template. If you can recall a couple videos ago, we talked a little bit about Jamboard and we talked about what kind of music is in our lives. And so after that, we're going to think about, wait a minute, how come a song even gets stuck in my head? And how does that song and the sound even get from the old school boombox to my ear and get stuck in my head? So that's really what we're trying to figure out and get our ideas out about in this model.
So this is really a tool to help us think about and share our thinking. And so just like Chris is saying, the boombox is making some music, but how does that get in my ear? And eventually I must hear it. So there must be something happening with my brain. And so here on this Google drawing, we have a bunch of different things that we want you to notice. You'll see that at the bottom on the left, it says record any questions you have as you develop your work. What to include in your model is there in the light blue. And then there's all of those different objects that you could use on the right. So let's say as I'm trying to share my thinking, let's say that, I think it must have something to do with this arrow. So I might just click on this arrow, bring this right over here, and drop it in and say, I don't know really what's happening with the boombox. I'm not sure how my brain is recognizing the sounds, but I know it comes from the boombox and somehow goes towards my brain. So I'm going to add that arrow.
Yeah, and so now what TJ just said isn't represented just by that arrow. So if we go up to insert, and this model, the whole way we work our way around Google Drawing is going to be very similar to Google Slides. So if I go up to insert, I can insert a text box. I can put it in right underneath the arrow, and I can start to say, what TJ was just saying. So somehow the sound gets to my ear from the boom box. Not totally sure how. So whether this leads us to a question as TJ and I are working together to start putting our ideas out here, we can always drop down to record questions we have, and we can type one right on one of those sticky notes and say, how exactly does the sound get to our ear? And so as we're talking, maybe we could say, geez, I think I remember something in one of our classes that sound maybe is kind of like a vibration. So maybe it has something to do with a vibration. So maybe as we're sharing some of our ideas and thinking about these questions, we can always go back and change what we wrote in a text box or add different ideas. And so as TJ's adding his idea, one thing we want to remember about what these objects that we put over here on the right-hand side is if you just right-click it, you can move it around, you can reshape it, and you can also just click Control-C to copy and make another exact image for that one. And we can go ahead and reuse those arrows.
And I added here, while Chris is talking, I can collaborate on this too. And so while he's working on one piece, let's say there's 4 of us, 5 of us in the group. We're all working on this model together. I'm thinking maybe this boombox needs some sort of energy. So is it batteries? Is it powered? Does it need to be plugged in? I can capture that piece. Or I might notice that it says, I think that blank happens because of blank. So I might pull this piece in and just add some text here. So think of that outside box, this box here in orange, as another resource to be able to pull in and even scaffold your thinking.
And so we're not going to spend the next 15 minutes sharing our thinking about this. We're going to let you have some time later to think about this and look at this and really explore some of the tools and the different ways to get your thinking out here. One thing we do want to think about is we can go up to File and we can click Download, and we can download this as a PDF or as a PNG. So we have an image we can go share with other people. So they won't be able to edit it any longer, but they'll be able to look at an image that we've made, and people can go ahead in something like Jamboard or in something like Google Slides and start to actually give us feedback and start critiquing some of our thoughts and some of our ideas.
And this is really just the start. You could do a ton with Google Drawing, and you might want to bring these into your Jamboards or bring these into your slides to do some virtual gallery walks or share your thinking with others. So happy drawing.
Yeah, enjoy.